So in this step, we're going to be creating a start button in our user interface that will eventually control our sprinkler. So I have a user interface up here in a separate tab, and we're going to add a start button right here on the right that's going to end up being the manual control for our sprinkler. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to drag an inject variable onto my workspace. And I'm going to configure it as follows. Let's say payload is number. And I'm going to give this number 5. So 5, for testing purposes, is a hard-coded variable. It's a global variable for the number of seconds that I want my sprinkler to be on. 5 seconds is a good number in this case because we're just going to be testing this to make sure that it turns on, counts down for those 5 seconds, and then turns off. I'm going to check the box to say inject this once. And I'm going to give this useful name. I'm going to say setting a default duration. Now, right now I'm injecting this into nowhere. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to save this as a global variable. So I'm going to drag in a change node. And I could configure this node as follows. I'm going to say save duration as a global variable for my name. And we're going to set a global variable that we're creating called duration from, or passing in, which is message payload. Make sure I spelled that right. And now we're going to connect our inject node to our change node, which is setting this global variable for us. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to comment and just give us a useful comment here. So our comment can say we're going to set duration as a global variable, and that pretty much sums it up, so there's no more text needed here. I'm just going to say done. Now let's add the button that we're going to use on our user interface. So let's drag in the button element and double click to configure. And let's do a few things. Let's confirm that we're going to use the same group and tab as everything else so far, which is the sprinkler control time. We're going to get a size of 4:1. And for our label, this is what we're going to show users on the user interface on the button. So let's make it useful. So let's say start sprinkler. And let's create a payload here. So the payload type is going to be string. It's already set. And the payload will be true. Click done. And now let's test to see what we have so far. Say deploy. And if I go into my UI, I can see that here's my sprinkler button. It's on the right. I can click it, and it doesn't do anything yet, but we're going to take care of that in the next video.